Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Chapel Forge. So today I want to talk about bulk fermentation. When I first started doing sourdough, I really didn't understand this. I didn't understand temping dough. I felt like I watched several videos and I still wasn't really understanding what to do. I saw the bulk fermentation chart and I was just super confused. And I didn't understand like percentage of rise and all these other things. And so I just kind of winged it. And unfortunately, that resulted in a lot of loaves that went to the pigs or the chickens, which was a big bummer. A lot of them we turned into croutons and breadcrumbs and all those things, but you only need so much of that too. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how bulk fermentation works. I'll have a blog post that coordinates with this so that you can see the chart, print the chart, write it down, whatever you want to do. So it is Sunday. I am preparing for our week at the bread shed. So if you've been following along with us for a while, we opened up our MicroBakery about a year and a half ago now. We do a menu, we do local pickup, and then we stock what we call the bread shed, which is like about 10 minutes down the road. So generally I stock the bread shed on Tuesday mornings and Thursday nights. So it kind of gives it a nice space in between. So I am prepping the sourdough for Monday's bake today. Generally I'll bake it so that it has as close to 24 hours as possible. I'll generally bake it like in the late afternoon or something, let it cool by the time I'm ready to package. I usually try to let sourdough cool for at least 2 hours. I really shoot for 4 because we send all of our bread pre-sliced. We have an Oliver bread slicer that we got on Marketplace and Zad rehabbed, and we wound up getting it for like $350. So it was all said and done, $350 or $400. And our customers love it. So every loaf goes down like this, nicely sliced. That's for us, of course. But they love it. They love that it's pre-sliced, especially sourdough, because it's definitely a lot more of a pain to slice than like a yeasted loaf of sandwich bread. So I have some tubs here. I already split off 12, which I'll go show you those here in a minute. But how this works, I use a regular meat thermometer that looks like this. I have like 3 or 4 of these. You could use one of the gun ones. I never feel like they're quite as accurate, but that's totally up to you. Basically what I do is I stick that in there and I figure out what the temp is. Once I know what the temp is, I have this handy little chart that I have conveniently staged at my prep table. I can link the video to our bakery tour in this so that you kind of understand the layout of our bakery. We're a home bakery licensed in Pennsylvania, checking all the boxes, doing all the things to meet the government's rules and all those kinds of things. So I have this staged here right at the prep table so that I always know on Sundays, and usually I prep also Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I'll prep the dough for Thursday's bake, depending on what the week looks like. But so for instance, if your dough is at 80 degrees, you're shooting for 5.5 hours. That's about a 30% rise. All right, if you're at 75 degrees, it's 7 hours, a 50% rise. If you're at 65 degrees, it's 16 hours and about 100% rise. There is definitely some wiggle that you can do with this. Like, you know, you don't have to be, if you put that water in and your starter and your flour and mix it all up at 9:17 a.m., you know, don't fret that like, you know, oh, I didn't get to it until 2:30 or like whatever. I would say you want to get to it within like a 30-minute window, or at least that's what I shoot for. If you're baking it the next day, I also feel like there's a little less pressure because it's not going to ferment that much in your cold fridge overnight. Now, if you want it to hold for 2 or 3 days, you really want to get that extra flavor developed and make it a little extra sour. I would try to nail it as best you can because it can overproof. Ask me how I know. So I have my chart written out that I have some half degrees on here, like at 77.5 degrees, it's at 6.25 hours or whatever. Like I said, I will link a blog that shows you the chart that has a little bit more description about this, a little bit more nerdy details if you're into that. All right, so here I have, and you can see, so I use an Expo marker on this. One of these days I'll take a magic eraser and erase them all. But I know that today's color is green. It's like the letter of the day in Sesame Street. So this has 6 plain in it. I started them at 9:45 a.m. and that's when they went into the Hobart and got mixed up. Also, I have 2 Simply Bread ovens. If you don't know about these and you want me to do a video about them, let me know because best investments ever. I can bake 18 loaves in one oven. So I can do 36 loaves at one time. Life-changing. Anywho, so we're going to take our meat thermometer here. We're going to stick it in our dough. So this is temping at, it's probably going to get to like 70. So this is temping at approximately 70 degrees, okay? So over here on my little what I need to do today paper, I have that my 6 plane, they were at 71 degrees. So we're pretty close. Like I said, this is picky, but it's not picky. Like it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like down to the 10th of a degree or anything. It doesn't have to be quite that picky. So I know that I need to split this off at 7:45. Conveniently, we're not going to be home at 7:45. Of course, I knew that was going to happen. We have like a 3-hour window. We're probably not going to be home. And of course, I'm going to have dough that needs split off. So in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and do it when we get back, because I would rather slightly overproof than underproof. Underproof always makes a dense crumb. Overproofing, I'm definitely going to get a lighter crumb, but I know I'm going to be baking these off tomorrow, so I'm not super worried about it. So I have those, and then I have chocolate chip. So let's get our temper thermometer, and let's see where this one is. So this one is temping at about 69 degrees. And usually what I do is I mix my dough up. Usually an hour later, I stretch and fold. At the 1.5-hour mark, I add inclusions. At the 2-hour mark, I stretch and fold. And if I feel like it, I'll do another stretch and fold at like 2.5 hours or 3 hours. And of course, I set all those reminders on my Yaka. If you've been around for a while, you know that I rely on her completely for setting timers. So chocolate I have in that it was at like 71 degrees, so it needs split off at 8. The positive thing is our kitchen is cold. I didn't start a fire today because it was like 37 when we got up, but it was like gonna get up to 65. It's 62. The kitchen's pretty chilly. So these are dropping in temp, which is to my benefit since we're not gonna be home. So I think it's probably gonna be okay. So you have to remember these nuanced things, like if you have a cold kitchen, if the temp is fluctuating, you know, our temp today is fluctuating 30 degrees from when I mixed to the middle of the day. So that's really important to keep in mind. Obviously the humidity in the beginning of November, not like a super large factor, but in the summertime, definitely a large factor. So the last one I have over here, I knew this one was gonna be forever because I always put frozen jalapenos in. This is my cheddar jalapenos. There's 8 in here. And they are holding at 63.5, which I got to look at my paper, but I think takes me till 12:15 a.m. So I may throw a seed mat on this one before we leave. I'm going to have like the opposite problem. I already did the 12. These 2 are going to happen while we're gone. This one's going to be like late. So I'll probably throw a seed mat on that one. You can get seed mats on Amazon super cheap, like 2 for 12, I don't know, something like that. I can link the ones that I have below. I usually keep them, like I have ones just dedicated to the bakery. Obviously I don't drag out my gardening seed mats because that's kind of icky. So I will link those so that you can see what those are like. If you need to ever push your bulk fermentation, seed mats are a great way to do that. All right, so if you want just like the best little, these are our kids' little turkeys. Let me read you one. It's really lovely. I think Lemon is thankful for mommy's milk. That was Jamie. I love Lemon because I love being with her a lot. This is the best. Homeschooling's awesome. And if you want to chat about that, I can definitely make more videos about homeschooling. Okay, that was just a little side note. Here is a seed mat. So of course they have a tendency to curl, but it's just this, they're usually black. I think all the ones I've ever had are always black. So you don't like turn it on or anything. You just literally plug it in. So I normally will just sit my dough tubs on the seed mat like this. It should get it warm enough that hopefully Bud and I can split those off maybe about the same time. I'm guessing we're going to be home around 9-ish. So I'm at 7:45 and 8 with keeping these on this cold countertop. I think that'll help further from the wood stove. You know, if we would start a fire tonight or whatever, these will be on the seed mat. So following the temp chart is definitely the way to go. If you need to like move things around to fit your schedule, there's definitely hacks for that. Like I said, keeping it on a cold counter, keeping it near a drafty window, putting a seed mat down, whatever you need to do to make it work with your life. So I am doing, let me see, 14, 24, I think I'm doing 38 loaves for Monday's bake. So let me go show you what the ones look like that we already did. Alexa, turn on garage light. All right, so in our garage, we have this cold cabinet. We just acquired this freezer. We need to clean it, but we always need extra freezer space. We have this freezer. My goal is currently right now, I have cookie dough and bananas and cheese and some milk in here. I'd love to put all my cookies in here on like different shelves. This is really dirty and it needs clean, so don't mind that. Like I'd love to have chocolate chip and then white chocolate cranberry and da-da-da-da-da, but we're getting there. We didn't get there yet. Okay, this is like the creme de la creme of fridges. I love this thing. We bought the extra racks for it. This is a restaurant store brand, or I don't know if Websteron is the same. Are they the same thing? I don't understand that, but whatever. Okay, so you can put in these different racks. They have these little clips with these racks. It's beautiful. I can line all my sourdough up. I can't believe I used to like stack this in my kitchen fridge and it was this balancing act and it was stupid and terrible. Okay, so these are the ones that I already did with their shower caps on them. They are cold retarding until tomorrow. So I have the 12 in there. Come on, Lemon. I have the 12 in there, and then I have the 8 cheddar jalapeno, 6 chocolate chip, and 6 plain. Alexa, turn off garage light. That are still bulk fermenting. So when we get home from our little Sunday evening adventure, not really an adventure, if you've been around for a while, / you know me in real life, you know that we share our oldest with his dad, and we moved 2 hours from where we both grew up and where his dad lives. So we're gonna meet Zad's parents and get some ice cream and see them and get Bud and all those things. So we have to go do that and go to the shed and reduce a couple things that didn't sell from the weekend. And yeah, so when we get back, we will split off all of these, get those in the fridge. They'll get baked off tomorrow. I also, never fails. So generally what I do on a Saturday night is, and I've been saying I'm going to do like a week in the life bakery video, but guys, like, I know moms out there do it that have like multiple kids, but 4 kids and bakery life and farm life and KitchenAid mixer repair life and fire poker life. This is our busiest season for fire pokers. They're coming in at like a rapid rate. And we think Zad has a torn bicep, we don't know. He's getting an MRI. Ugh. So pray for us. I don't know where that's going. You know, y'all have probably figured out how I feel about the medical system, so I'm not real like super excited about it. Anyway, okay, so I always feed, I don't know how I got on that tangent. I always feed 3 starters. Oh, why I can't do a week in the life video. I always feed 3 starters before I go to bed on Saturday night. Now, in these colder temps, I've been feeding it at like 6 p.m. instead of like 10 p.m. just to give it a little bit of extra time. This little darn thing, so the other 2 were great. Got up, they were bubbling almost over top of their lids, like doing all the things I needed to get bread ready, which was great. That's exactly what I needed. This is moving at a much slower pace, but it's getting good bubbles. This is where it was. I'm hoping by the time we get home, it'll be a little closer to here. I'd like to get some chocolate cake started, sourdough chocolate cake, and I use active starter for that, and it's delicious and fermented, and all the things you need in a cake so that you feel slightly less guilty about eating your cake. So I'm hoping to mix that up when we get home, they mix up some English muffins or bagels or something, or focaccia, I don't know. I got the new pans for the Simply Bread oven. They are 20 by 20, and I want nothing more than to make one giant focaccia on this. So I might do that just because I think that would be super fun. So that is how I handle bulk fermentation. If you are doing just one loaf, like if it's just for your family, or if you are thinking about starting a MicroBakery, and so right now you're only doing like 2 or 4 and doing some testing and things, same thing. So obviously when I'm doing it like this, generally it bulks a little bit faster because there's all that extra dough, it's holding in that heat, it's in this tub with a lid and all of that. But if you do it like super old school in like a ceramic bowl, grandma's Pyrex, whatever, same thing. Temp your dough, pay attention to the bulk fermentation chart, and you should nail it every time. So if you have questions about how this works, let me know what other kind of content you want to see. Like I said, my videos are super inconsistent, but that is just the season that I am in at the moment. But I will try to, at minimum, share a blog or some Facebook content or something to try to help you along. I know this was a huge struggle for me when I was trying to learn how to do sourdough. If I would have, and it was, my mind just had to process it. Like if my mind would have just understood the bulk ferment chart from the beginning, I would have nailed sourdough way sooner than I did. So I should probably get back to the kids, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. We'll see you guys next time.